Tisha, on the same note, asks, how do we find out if our course is going to be using e-proctoring software if we have already registered?
David, could you speak to that?
Yeah, that information, you'll know that when you access your syllabus if you've already registered. So as soon as there's a syllabus available, it will be in your syllabus. And if you have an email contact for your professor, your instructor, you can send them an email now and ask them whether e-proctoring. E-proctoring, we're looking at that for the fall, of course. But you can contact your instructor if you've got that information and ask them whether they're going to have a proctored exam or not, final exam or not.
Thank you. We have a question from Taif again. Talking about food services, would we be seeing any sustainability initiatives in food services in coming months? Specifically, why can't Chartwells use reusable cutlery instead of using tons of plastic cutlery?
Taif, again, a great question. It's one we have discussed repeatedly, both before the pandemic and now that we're in the pandemic. As I think you will have seen if you've been out dining in the community, many restaurants are using disposable plates and cutlery in an attempt to reduce the risk of transmission of COVID-19. Because our food services outlets will not be open, it's not a big question for us, but sustainability generally is. And I just want to give you one other example of that. We have, over the past 4 or 5 years, through the hard work of people in facilities management, reduced our carbon footprint by consuming much less electricity per person than we did in the past. And that's, replacing light bulbs with high efficiency lights and replacing fan systems and so on and so forth. But in order to keep the campus safe, even for relatively small numbers of students, we are going to have to boost electricity consumption and run fans longer and harder so that the air exchange in the buildings is much greater than we've done in the past in order to keep them safe. So this is another instance where COVID, an instance entirely beyond our control, is impacting our attempts as a campus community to be more sustainable. And our goal, once again, our prime goal has to be health first, then we worry about everything else after. So I hope that's an answer to your question.
So Dr. Chase, you said you have to leave at 2:30?
Yep.
Okay, all right, just want to make sure. So when that happens, just you can say something and you can leave, I guess. We have a question from Garjinder, and to that point, Gurkarat, who Gurjinder asks or states that students are charged online material fee. The situation has made students and university transitioning to online learning, whereas students are also going to miss the classroom experience. Is it not that students should not be charged such fee? And then Gurkarat says, adding to Garjinder's point, there's a Center for Continuing Education fee being charged to the students, which is $67.75.
Great question. Again, if we could do more on the fee side, we would be doing it. But we are, as I said earlier, down literally millions of dollars in revenue, and we must be able to sustain our operations. I would add that specific CCE fee of $67.75 actually helps support the salaries of the instructional designers who are putting that course material online for students. And I don't know, David, if you want to answer anything more than that.
Yeah, well, thank you, Tom. I think you've got it. It's that CCE fee is charged to only the online courses that have access to the developmental expertise of the Center for Continuing Education. Those are the only courses that have that particular kind of fee.
We have a question from Gurkarat, who asks or states, the international students who are applying to study at the UofR, how are things going to work for them?
I think we've got Haroon Chowdhury of UR International on the call. Haroon, if you're there, there you are. Haroon is the expert on all things international, so I know he'll have the answer.
Okay, I was just unmute. Yeah, international students right now, we are expecting until August 31st, till border is closed. Only students who can enter Canada who are currently outside if their travel is non-optional and non-discretionary. So we are working with those students who need to travel, who need to be inside Canada to take their courses. Other than that, Government of Canada is allowing them to take the courses from abroad if they have approval of their visa. And recently, a new category was introduced that called approval in principle. So that means if any student who has applied for their study permit, they are even though they are waiting for their approval of the study permit, the government will review their application and give them a letter of the first stage that is called approval in principle. So this time period will be counted toward their post-graduation work permit. So those students who travel is non-optional and non-discretionary. That means they need a lab work, they have workshop, they need to be inside Canada, they need to attend in-person classes. They will be able to enter Canada, and UR International is giving them the support letter. But they will have to prove to the Government of Canada that why their travel is non-optional and non-discretionary, because there are some other conditions. When they're arriving in Canada, University of Regina Residence Services have a self-contained plan for all the international students. Currently, we do have some international students who just arrived within the last few days. They are living on campus. So UR International Residence Services, we are all in contact with them. We are still working with the provincial government, federal government. If the policy will change, we are expecting some new rules within the next few weeks. It's not guaranteed. There is no surety. We are not sure that it will happen or not. If the government will open the border, so definitely University of Regina has a plan. We are currently working on that plan these days to work with the federal government to welcome our students and to provide the self-contained plan on campus. UofR residence services, John, correct me if I'm wrong, we have approximately 550 students. They can be self-contained on campus if we receive them. Regarding the support services, we are trying our best to provide everything, whatever we can. We have advising sessions available for 12 hours from morning to evening. And in case if any student needs any emergency support over the weekend, we are also available for that. The tutoring services, advising, everything. I think the classes, Dr. Gregory has already mentioned, there are some classes that we are trying our best to meet the time zone need of the international students too. So that's we did in the spring summer. So far, we do have 40 students currently outside Canada. They have declared they are registered for the fall term. We are expecting more. Overall, our registration is a little more, but many students are still inside Canada, the international students who are taking the classes for the fall term. So I hope you answered the question.
Yes, I think you have. Thank you. We have a question from Jennifer. They ask, how, as the many of the faculty will be working remotely, will there be more abilities to contact faculties or support staff by phone instead mostly email?
Maybe I'll start with, Keegan, maybe I'll start with that question, or to answer that question. So I think that the faculties and the units and the departments are still open to phone call messages. So you can call the departments and the faculties and leave a message on the phone. They're still checking those messages. I know that as fact. Professors and teaching staff, I'm going to suggest they probably won't recommend phone contact. You can appreciate how in a day how disruptive that might be for them if they've got 30, 50, 100 students in the class. So I'm going to suggest that your best bet will be emails to faculty who are working remotely. The other thing I'd like to say, Jennifer, is I'm going to suggest that most faculty, if not all, will have office hours listed in their syllabus. And they can host live Zoom office hours, or if you send your email during that office hour, they're there to answer it. I don't think we should assume that teaching staff and professors are going to answer their emails 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That would not be a reasonable expectation. So you might want to confirm in your course what the professor's practice will be. Ask him, her, or them, how will they manage the email questions that come to them? Will they answer them during office hours? Will they answer them in the evening? Will they answer them only Monday to Friday? So just clarify with your instructor what the intent is for emails. But please don't hesitate to phone faculties and departments and units, the office number, they will get back to you.
Keegan, if I can, I've got to go now. I've got another meeting to attend, but I just wanted again to thank everybody on the call, to thank Gurjinder and his executive, and to wish you each and collectively and individually all the best as summer comes to an end. We're enjoying this beautiful August weather right now. And together, we're going to get through all of the challenges of this pandemic in the September term and in the January term, working together as a university community of students, faculty, and staff who have as their first objective keeping each other and the community safe, and as a second objective, great academic quality and integrity for that great University of Regina degree to which you're all working. So thank you again for everything that you are doing and will be doing in coming weeks and months. I appreciate it very much.
On behalf of University of Regina Students Union and on behalf of Zio and Gurkirat and our entire student organization, I thank Dr. Chase for his presence today, and I hope that we as two organizations will work efficiently to provide utmost things to the students and their desires and their university experience. Thank you so much, Dr. Chase.
Thank you, Gurjinder. Much appreciated. Bye-bye, everybody.
So it's